All right, everybody. Welcome back to Punches and Bunches, the official podcast of the South Texas Amateur Boxing Association. I'm here with STABA President Eddie Garcia, who just wrapped up his first year as president. Eddie, welcome to the program.
Thank you, brother. Glad to be back.
Absolutely. So let's start with this. I think this is a basic question for us, but maybe not everybody would understand this. You're the president of STABA, which is a huge region. Describe the region and the cities that make up the South Texas Amateur Boxing Association.
Well, South Texas is like you said, is a big area. We cover just north of Killeen, all the way down to Brownsville, and then from Del Rio, Eagle Pass, all the way to Victoria to El Campo. Um, and shoot, this past summer, I got a call from a coach if they wanted to do an event up near Junction. And I was like, well, is that even our area? So I looked, and yeah, we cover all the way up to Junction as well. So I was like, man, where do our boundaries end? So that was an experience right there. Finding
Abs-
out we cover all the way to Junction.
Absolutely. I mean, just an enormous region. One of the biggest regions probably in USA boxing.
Yeah, oh yeah, from you think about it, from Killeen to let's say Brownsville, the furthest point south, man, you're looking 5 hour drive, five,
Yeah,
6 hour drive.
yeah, maybe longer than that
That's a
in
lot.
some
Yeah.
portions.
That or going east to west, you think, let's say Del Rio to El Campo is another 5 hour drive, 5, 6 hour drive. It's a lot.
So just an enormous landmass we're working with. Like I
Yeah.
mentioned, you just served your first year as president of STABA. Let us know what went down in 2024. What were some of the things that worked? Some of the things you look back and say, yeah, we're gonna bring that back in 2025.
Dude, uh, the one thing that stands out to me the most were were 1A, 1B was the registrations for the LBCs, the South Texas LBCs and the South Texas the LBC championships. You know, we had 478 registered boxers for the LBC championship for the South Texas LBCs, the South Texas Junior Olympics, and we had like 150 boxers for the LBC championships. You know, those were huge increases from the years previous. You know, so that much tells me that the LBC is going through this growth. That we need to be prepared for. That like I said, last year's Junior Olympics, we had 478 boxers, 3 rings in 3 days. Realistically, we could top 500. So we're talking to the city of Edinburgh, Coach Molina, and we're asking him. It's realistically could be 4 rings 3 days or 3 rings 4 days. And then like I said, the LBC championships had 150 boxers, and compare that to the numbers in previous years. That's a lot, and it's just youth and elite boxers. So 150 boxers, uh, we had 15, 20 bouts 3 days between those two divisions. It was a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to continue talking about some of what we did right in 2024, but you did mention the Junior Olympics in Edinburgh, which, we did have a high amount of boxers, like you said, multiple rings. And also the city kind of rolled out the red carpet for us. They had a press conference, the mayor was there, the city council was there. And as I understand it, we're going back to Edinburgh for the Junior Olympics in 2025.
Yes, sir. That's correct. We Man, they spared no expense. Coach Molina, the mayor, the Chamber of Commerce there in Edinburgh, they rolled out the red carpet, and they were kind enough. They gave some time to you to do some interviews. Um, we everything we asked for, they provided. So it was a, it was a huge deal in the valley. There in Edinburgh. Um, it was, and honestly, it's one of the, if not the largest tournament, non-national tournament. Think about it, doing a 480, 478 boxer tournament. That's just one LBC is incredible to think about.
So we're headed back there in 25. They did a great job in 2024. And speaking of a great job in 2024, some of our boxers overperformed. We had one boxer, Jennifer Lozano, go to the Olympics. We,
Yes.
we had one, Emilio Garcia, just, probably one round short of the Olympics. Tell us about some of our STABA superstars who, really overperformed in 2024.
You hit it right on the head, dude. As a boxing fan, I've always kept up with the Olympics, with the boxing portion of the Olympics. But this year, beginning of 2024, going into the summer, uh, it was I don't want to say hectic, but it was fun. You know, keeping up with Emilio, keeping up with Jennifer. And then when Jennifer qualified, the excitement I felt, and then following her through the Olympics. And then if you remember with Emilio, he was doing videos with USA Boxing, the baking with Emilio. I was watching those. So I enjoyed it. It was seeing that side of him was awesome. Uh, so that was an experience. That was pretty cool. That was fun. Um, the this what 2 3 weeks ago, the national championships there in Virginia. You know, they Jennifer Lozano qualified again for the high performance team. Qualified to work out there in Colorado, uh, and qualified for international competition as well. And same thing with David Lona from Austin. He qualified for international tournaments. Trainer at the High Performance Center. You know, so it was awesome. Like I said, looking at that, looking at Emilio, Jennifer, the build up to the Olympics, and then the new boxers. Aaron Walden qualified, David Lona. You know, so
Absolutely.
I know I'm forgetting one or two more, but yeah, off the top of my head, Jennifer, David Lona, Aaron Walden.
We had a bunch of boxers that did great over there. And you can't speaking of our great boxers, you can't obviously have a boxing match in the Staba region without officials. We had some officials do really great this year. I think at our year end, our officials of the year, our judge was Nexus Novoa. Our of all around official of the year was Sarah Perez, and of course our referee was Polo Martinez. But beyond those three, just looking at officiating as a whole in STAB, how would you rate where your judges and referees are right now? Is everybody doing a pretty good job?
Oh, they're doing a damn good job. Um, it wasn't too long ago we were doing clinics, and there was the room maybe had four or five interested, you know, interested people becoming an official. You know, Now this past year, 2024, we were having clinics with 20, 30 people in the room. It was a full blown class. You've done some clinics with me. We had 20, 30 people in there. They wanted to join to become officials. Uh, we had more interest from the coaches. Coaches wanted to sit in on these rules, learn the rules, and that was awesome. We had boxers interested. So those clinics, those all that interest, that's good for the LBC. We said we had I think 74, 73 events this year. I'm happy to say not we didn't have to cancel one at all because we didn't have enough officials. We just made a phone call. Hey, we need someone to come over here. And there was always someone willing to move around just to help put on events. So that's great. Um, there in the valley in the RGV area, April and her crews, they the last 2 3 months, I believe, maybe the last 4 months, they were running five judges. They had 12, 13 officials show up. That's awesome. That's great. Of course, there's going to be some learning curves, and that's fine. That's expected. But to have that amount of interest from people wanting to become an official, that's incredible. That's awesome. That's what we want. People to learn, people to have that thirst for knowledge. Love it. Love to see it.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something in there about coaches sitting in on officials clinics. One of our just things as officials, there's a natural tension because as an official, you might take a point from a boxer, you might warn a boxer, You might judge against a boxer. So there's a natural tension between coaches and officials sometimes, perhaps. And I wonder how important that is to have coaches sitting in, kind of learning the rules, becoming more familiar with how we're watching a fight, just so they have that understanding, and so there's maybe a little less tension when a referee gives a warning or when a judge rules a split decision that goes against the boxer. How important is it to have coaches sitting in on some of these?
Yeah, no, that's very important. W- uh, in these clinics that we do, one thing we push down on the judges is um, just because the referee gives an A count doesn't mean the kid lost the round, the boxer lost the round, And there's still some coaches that feel, oh no, we got an 8 count, we're going to lose the round, or it's an automatic 10-8. No, 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 no. That's just for the official to make sure the boxer's okay. And then we instruct the judges, hey, if it's just an 8 count, don't automatically put 10-8 red or whatever. Let the round play out. So getting the coaches there, getting everybody on the same page, is very beneficial.
And one of the things, I learned at these things, especially, I was just in Virginia. Probably my biggest takeaway is the scoring criteria and the clean quality punches. Um, where, one thing I learned is sometimes the boxer coming forward, and I know we're getting in the weeds a little here, but sometimes the boxer coming forward, if he's aggressive but isn't landing clean quality punches, that's not necessarily going to be the winner. And that's something I've kind of, had to relearn for myself. So some of those little things that you wouldn't think about end up being big things in the course of a fight and properly judging a fight about, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard it several times. Hey, I think my kid won, my boxer won because we pushed forward the whole time. Like, well, coach, in the clinic, pushing forward, it it really isn't in the criteria. It's quality blows landed in the target area with the clean fist, with the weight of the shoulder behind it. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, hey, well, next time we go to a clinic, next time we have a clinic in your area, come on out. I want to see you. Let's talk about it. You know, and
Yeah,
also to add to that, to add to the coaches, we've we had 3 coaches clinics this year. In 2024, we had one silver clinic and 2 bronze. The silver clinic was in Corpus, and 2 bronze, one in San Antonio, one in Edinburgh, Mission, one in Mission, Corpus, and San Antonio, and we had good turnouts for them. So that tells me the coaches want to learn. They want to know the rules. They want to grow with the sport. It's always changing. So they want to learn and be involved. So that's great. You know, heads up to thanks up. Heads up to the coaches. Thank you.
absolutely. And let's not, I'm not going to get too deep in the rule book. I don't want people to start tuning out. So let's take a step back. Let's look at 2025. What's some stuff on the horizon, some big events that the communities that make up STABA should be looking out for, and us as officials and boxers and coaches. What are some big events we should be looking out for?
Good question. Like we mentioned earlier, the JOs, 2025 JOs, they're going to be in Edinburgh again. We expect all hands on deck. I may have to call some buddies from other areas to come in and help. We're actually going to try to get the electronics, excuse me, the electronic scoring system. We're going to try to set that up. Maybe 3 to 4 rings, 3 or 4 days. Uh, Working with a coach, he wants to do an international show, so we may be having a true international show towards the end of the year, October, November-ish. And about a week or two ago, I got another call from a coach wanting to do another international show around the same timeline. So those are exciting. I always used to see this coach in particular posting, hey, we're doing a show in this other LBC. And I always thought, man, I want to do that, you know? And when I actually got the phone call from him, hey, let's make it work. Let's do something, unprompted. I didn't buzz him or nothing. I just kept it in the back of my mind. And I guess it manifested itself because they called me, hey, let's do a show there, And he gave me some details. We need to work out the details and the dates and whatever, but that's something exciting. That's something I'm excited for. Like I said, those international events, why we're not working with the Mexican Federation or you know other countries is something I've always wanted to explore. You
Mhm.
know, yeah,
Exciting and an exciting opportunity for our boxers to, compete against the best from other countries. So
exactly.
anytime you can get that on the calendar, let's look at maybe some guidelines. We're both officials. What's something, we're gonna have clinics coming up in January and February. When you have new officials in there that are still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, they're ready to get in the game and stomp their way up the judging or refereeing ladder. What's some good advice for new officials?
Tell them all the time at the end of the clinics, uh, get out of your area. Get out of your comfort zone. If you're in San Antonio, I encourage you to go to Corpus, go to the Valley, go to Laredo, just to learn other areas. The Austin officials do the same thing. Go to Corpus, Laredo, San Antonio. Hit the towns. You know, that's what was instilled in me when I first became an official. My first event was in San Antonio. My second event was in Eagle Pass. Then my third event was in Corpus. So I was always traveling. I was always looking at different officials. We mentioned Polo earlier. I remember going to events and looking at Polo and just sitting there picking his brain, or going to the Valley and meeting Stanley Carr, may he rest in peace, and visiting with him and discussing with him. Hey, how do we do this, or how do you do that, or what did you see? Or hey, I was on the out on this one. What happened? What did I miss? Uh, but yeah, that's the first thing I tell officials is get out, hit the towns, discuss what you're seeing. As an official, I want to provide feedback, but on the flip side, I also want feedback given to me. You know, so I always tell them keep an open mind, hit the road, hit the towns, and it truly is what's the saying? You get out what you put in.
Mhm.
You put in the effort, you're gonna climb up, you're gonna eventually start climbing the ladder or start seeing results. I like to do those pop quizzes.
Oh yeah,
I'll send out a mass email. I'll send out an email to 20, 25 officials, and I'll email them scenarios, and having the conversations back and forth that I'm having with these officials, with the OICs, is awesome. It's part of learning. It's part of growing up in the sport. So yeah, yeah. I encourage everyone hit the roads, hit the towns, and just learn as much as you can.
absolutely. Hit the roads. And one of the great parts of working as an amateur boxing official is you see a lot of cool places you've never seen before. And a lot of these random cities in Texas have a lot of great history. So, hit the road, you might see something cool out there.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? And it's not just our LBC as well. You know, uh, I'll get a call from West Texas. Hey, we're doing an event in Lubbock, Odessa. Hey, can you send me two or three officials? And depending how busy we are, we might send two or three officials that way, or Miss Diana and Alex there in Houston, they're at the golf. Uh, hey, we're having a big event. Can you send me two or three officials? Send me four officials. Yeah, sure. We'll send officials. And just ask. If anyone's interested, any officials here in South Texas are interested, let me know. Yeah, I'll put you on the list. We'll put you on the road.
Yeah, and then I know y'all sent some officials to Houston that were well taken care of. Sent some officials to Colorado this year. It was a fun time to be a STABA official this year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we came back, STABA versus golf. You know, we took some officials up there. We had a good time. You said Colorado. Eric and Nexus went to Colorado for the Rocky Mountain State Games. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Just hit the road. Keep an open mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's move to this because one thing, we're gonna get back into the rule book a little. This is interesting to me because this came up at the national tournament, and I think it comes up really at all levels of boxing these days. And I don't know if you're the best person to answer this question, but I'm going to shoot it towards you, and let's see where we land. Um, One thing that's causing a lot of controversy, I guess, is social media and officials engaging on social media, posting at ringside, posting with boxers, being friends with boxers on social media. Where do you draw these lines? Where should an official be in relation to coaches and boxers on social media? What are some of the lines? Where do you see this issue?
That's tricky. It really is. Uh, at one, you don't want to be, you don't want to come off as fa having favorites or favoritism towards a coach or an area, but so much of what we do is online,
Mhm.
you know. Uh, so much of the matchmaking is done online. You know, a coach will post on Facebook, "Hey, we're having an event January 30th at here.
Mhm.
Send me your pre-match list." And that's how they get their pre-match list. That's how it's done. And me personally, I'll share it because I want as many people to see it. Um, but it's tricky. Like I said, it's real tricky. You don't want to come off um, having favoritism or anything like that. That's real. I I me personally with the boxers, I love my boxers.
Mhm.
All 3,000 of them. I'm sorry, all 2,200 of them. They're to me they're the best. But I'm real careful taking pictures with them or with the coaches. On social media when you see, oh, it's this coach's birthday. you know, Try not to go out and, hey, what time's the party or whatever, just real, keep it simple, simple handshake, you know, he said, don't, like, again, like what I say in the clinics is, always assume you're being recorded,
Mhm.
you know,
Absolutely.
you know, and we're always connected online. So anything could be screenshotted and hey, we lost this bout because this guy took a picture with this coach, over here. you know it's tricky. It's tricky.
It, it it is tricky, and I see where as members of the board and the president, you almost have no choice but to engage with these boxers and coaches on social media because you're sharing their events, or you're linking up to see who's available for this fight or not available. I kind of try to draw a hard line on this. I don't I never talk to boxers on social media. I don't add them on social media. I have one boxer who's a great kid who's always in my DMs, and I never even read it. He's a great kid from Central Texas. He's helped us at a bunch of events. And kind of my rationale is, insert name here. I say, if I engage with you, and then 10 years down the line, you're fighting a championship fight or a national tournament, and I can't do your fight because I've been exchanging messages with you. We're best buddies. So it's just in this generation, we see these people more than our friends, but at the same time, we kind of got to pull back that urge to engage with them as friends, if that makes sense. If that word
Yeah,
salad makes any sense.
yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. It's just tricky. It I'm cool with everyone. I don't have a problem with anyone. um no favoritism, but one wrong slip up, oh, Eddie has a picture, hugging this coach or shaking his hand or at the carne asada, you know, it's tricky,
It's an
uh, even, and I hate to say it, but even with the fundraisers,
Mhm.
you know, hey, we're having a fundraiser here, and I show up to buy two plates. Someone's gonna take a picture of it. Look, Eddie's supporting them. That's why we lost. Like, oh, come on, man. It's not that. I'm supporting the LBC, supporting the team. You know what I'm saying?
it's it's
So
an
it,
inter
it's tricky.
it's an interesting era to be involved with. involved with boxing and the
Yeah,
overlap
yeah,
with the social media era. Um,
yeah, exactly.
that was probably the toughest question I had. Now, as we start to wrap this up, let's go back to the softballs. Um, Officials, we talked about new officials, we talked about the clinics. If anybody listening wants to get involved, wants to be a STABA USA boxing official, how do they do that? What's the process for that?
Yeah, they just get in contact with me or Tony Nanes. Tony Nanes, our chief of officials. We're on Facebook. We're on social media. We have a social media pages for. We have an official Staba Instagram. We have an official Facebook. So anyone they could just hit us up. Tony Nanes, the chief of officials on Facebook. Me, Eddie Garcia. Uh, the official Staba Instagram is official underscore Staba on Instagram. Facebook is South Texas LBC News and Announcements. You
And I,
know, and it's funny. There's two Eddie Garcias in the LBC.
Mhm.
The other one's from Laredo. I'm from San Antonio, so I tell everyone, man, make sure you got the right Eddie Garcia because he gets my messages, I get his. It's funny.
The one with the beard, the one
Yeah,
with the
there you
beard,
go.
that's who you're looking for.
That's right.
And we have a clinic, I think the first clinic of the year at the Edinburgh Parks and Rec on January 24th. Is that right?
January 24th. Yeah, the last Saturday, 24th. Yeah,
Okay,
24th,
perfect. So we,
Yeah,
we,
yeah,
we
and then
would
the week after we'll have another one February 2nd, first Saturday, Sunday. It's a Sunday. The first Sunday in February in San Antonio at Ferocious Gym. Uh, Ellis Johnson will be the clinician there in Edinburgh. It'll be me. Uh, you're invited if you're available. Come out.
absolutely.
Miss Valerie's gonna be there as well, along with April and Paul as clinicians. So
And definitely
um,
definitely re-up even for officials that are already officials, re-up if you want to get involved with the Golden Glove season in any of our regions.
exactly, and that's I kind of I want to do the end of January one, make it an annual thing there in Edinburgh. We had such a good turnout last 2024. We had such a good turnout. Um, I want to make it annual there. The one that Ellis does the Sunday in February. He does that one before the Golden Gloves. I want to do this one in Edinburgh. For the Golden Gloves, getting everybody ready for Golden Glove season.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll close with this one. I've been an official with STABA for about 11 years, but really 6 years as an active official. And one thing I had never heard of in my, previous decade as an official is a banquet for STABA officials. And I think we're having a banquet for officials. Tell us about this event, how it came about, and is this just an officials only thing? What's the deal with our STABA banquet at the start of
Yeah,
January?
yeah. It's going to be an officials appreciation dinner. Starts at 5 this Saturday, January 4th,
Mhm.
downtown San Antonio. Uh, Invitations went out. It's going to be fun. Like I said, we like I mentioned earlier, we did 74 events, 73 events. Our officials showed up, showed out. You know, uh, Hit the roads. Some went to nationals. He said went to Colorado, went to Houston, whatever. Everyone helped. There was all hands on deck. Everyone helped, and it's an officials appreciation.
Well, we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to seeing all our officials. And we can't thank you enough, our president, Eddie Garcia, for all you did in this last year and for joining the program today. Thank you so much, President Eddie.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.